night for baseball as the series between the Brewers and the Pirates continues here at Miller Park, and what Zach Davies hopes will be an unforgettable night as the 22-year-old right-hander gets ready to make his major league debut here tonight. Zach Davies joining the Brewers in a trade acquired from Baltimore Orioles for Gerardo Parra at the trade deadline on July 31st. And Davies is eager to take advantage of this opportunity with the Brewers, knowing that there are spots available in a rotation potentially for next year. So Davies is eager to make a great first impression here in his debut tonight and spoke about facing the Pirates here in his debut.
I was surprised, but I was excited. New opportunity, new team, new place to prove myself. A team that saw what I've done a little bit over with the Orioles organization, but a new team and a new opportunity. For me, it's a lot about command. Command all pitches, all parts of the plate, reading hitters and making sure I'm keeping them off balance, changing speeds. So I've worked on that since high school. Made sure that with each hitter on each team, I've got a plan. I've got a plan to attack. So just keep throwing the way I've been throwing, making sure I'm throwing strikes, making sure I'm keeping the ball low in the zone, throwing all pitches for strikes.
Davies is ready for his major league debut here against the Pirates, and Jonathan LUCROY hoping to give him a little support at the plate. He's riding a 9-game hitting streak. Craig Kashan and Tavy Nelson will tell you about LUCROY's hot bat coming up next.
It is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. It'll be quite a night for the Brew Crew here tonight. Their fans get to watch Zach Davies make his major league debut. It's Game 2, Pirates and the Brewers, is our coverage here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. rolls on. And tell you what, Davey, you look at one of the hottest hitters right now. The Brewers have some guys hitting the ball well, but Jonathan Lucroy, 9-game hitting streak going right now, putting up some nice numbers. If he gets one more here tonight, that would match a career high and say a lot about how he's trying to bring his season to a strong close.
Well, you know, the one thing about Jonathan Lucroy, you know, when he first came up, you know, to the big leagues, and everybody said, boy, he's a professional hitter. Well, you know what? Nothing's changed. He just got off to a tough start this year with the broken toe and everything. But, the cream always comes to the top. And Jonathan Lucroy, we see a vintage Jonathan Lucroy right now. Staying back on the ball, using the gaps, and just driving the ball very well.
All right, we'll see if he can make it 10 here tonight. And the Brewers can make it 5 in a row over the Pirates as well. It's a personal win streak they've got going right now that could factor in late in the season for the Buccos. Being Rock will take you the rest of the way when we come back.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. We got a great night for baseball. Wednesday night here in Milwaukee, and there is Zach Davies hitting the field for the first time as a major leaguer. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder. And, Rock, it's interesting that the Brewers and the Pirates, it's been quite a matchup for Pittsburgh. They are 28 games over 500, and yet the Brewers have a winning record against them.
Yeah, the Pirates just can't seem to score a lot of runs. The Brewers are looking for their 5th consecutive victory against Pittsburgh, all here at Miller Park, and the Pirates have scored a total of 11 runs. 9 of those runs have come in just 2 games, so the Brewers have pitched pretty well against an offense that's been clicking on all cylinders so far this year.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's been one of the hottest teams in baseball. They are in the top wild card position, and Clint Hurdle's batting order looks like this tonight. It's brought to you by Potawatomi, Polanco, Marte, and McCutchen at the top. Ramirez, Gung, Walker in the middle with Alvarez, Cervelli, and Jeff Locke rounding it out. Same position players as we saw last night. And there is Zach Davies, ready to make his major league debut, acquired from the Orioles in the Gerardo Parra deal. So he split time between Norfolk and AAA in the International League and Colorado Springs in the Pacific Coast League with the Brewers. And here he is in the National League, ready to face the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, he was surprised by the call-up. Last pitched on Thursday, a 3-1 loss. He's pitched well down in the minor leagues throughout his career. A 26th rounder back in 2011 out of high school, 22 years old, 6 feet, 155 pounds, and you have to believe that Davies got some emotions working. He's going to have to control those emotions tonight. He's a control pitcher.
22 years of age. He was in the Futures game in Cincinnati earlier this season as one of the Orioles' top prospects. He was a top 10 prospect with them, and he is a top 10 prospect with the Brewers. And you can only imagine what's going through his mind. He's ready to make his first big league pitch to Polanco, and we are underway. And Zach Davies is officially a major leaguer.
Well, he's got all 4 pitches: a fastball, curve, slider, change. The curve and the change are really good pitches for him.
And a ground ball to second base. Herrera's over there tonight. And the first big league out for Zach Davies comes to GREGORY Polanco. Let's check the rest of the Brewers defensively, courtesy of Menards.
Yeah, very important defense. Zach Davies doesn't strike too many out. It's Davis, Santana, and Braun. Pretty much the same outfield for a while now. Hernan Perez gets the start at third base because of the left-hander Jeff Lockout on the mound. Segura and Herrera up the middle. Adam Lynn gets the start against the left-hander tonight. And Jonathan Lucroy swinging a hot bat back behind home plate.
There is the Davies clan watching young Zach pitch in the big leagues for the first time. His dad Eric, his mother Maria, had a great moment last night with his mother as she saw him in a major league uniform for the first time, and actually brought his mother to tears last night as Davies came over and saw his family after batting practice. She's trying to capture all those moments. His brother Parker is here as well.
Yeah, a lot of work for everybody, not just Zach Davies to get to the big leagues, but the families too. They put their heart and soul into it.
And a guy who is out of high school in Arizona, in the Phoenix area, Gilbert, Arizona. Marte rolls one to Perez. What a play, and a throw to first in time for out number 2.
Yeah, one of the big differences between the big leagues and AAA is the defense, and Zach Davies gets good play out of Hernan Perez. The one thing you can expect out of Davies, he's going to throw strikes. He doesn't walk many. They say he likes to attack the strike zone, and fielders have got to be on their toes.
Tip of the cap right away for Hernan Perez. And 2 quick outs for Davies. 2 ground ball outs. Here is Andrew McCutchen, an MVP candidate again this season. McCutchen won the MVP award 2 years ago, and in that season he had 84 runs batted in. He has 85 RBIs this year, 3rd best in the National League, and he's hitting .304 with 20 home runs, 4th best on base percentage in the National League coming into play, and a very interesting stat for him. And I'm sure Davies is well aware of his first inning success, but Andrew McCutchen in his last 7 games in the first inning is 6 for 6 with a walk.
Yeah, including a double last night.
A late timeout asked for by McCutchen.
He likes to get it and go. Doesn't mess around between pitches. You like that. Shows confidence.
1-2 pitch. Now Davies has been told his entire career that he's not big enough, maybe doesn't have the arm strength to pitch in the big leagues. He took a major flyer, didn't he, in high school? He was a 26th round draft pick, had a scholarship to Arizona State and turned it down to sign as a 26th rounder.
Yeah.
Hey, even the ball boys are getting into the defensive act here today.
That was a nice play off the carom.
Well done.
Even the ball boys got to be ready with Davies on the mound.
Everybody's live. Here's a 2-2 to McCutchen. Yeah, just missed. Davies was a middle infielder until his junior year in high school, and then he converted to the mound. And again, McCutchen calls timeout on Davies.
Yep, and Tony Randazzo giving it to him.
And that won't make the Brewers happy right out of the gates. 3-2 pitch. And it's low ball 4. So McCutchen continues his first inning streak. 8 consecutive games reaching base in his first at bat. And it's a walk with 2 away.
I expect the Pirates to do a little bit of that tonight. I mean, try and slow him down because obviously he likes to work quickly. Nobody knows a whole lot about Zach. We're learning just like everybody else.
Nice hand for Ramos Ramirez, who homered last night in his final at bat. Brewers won the game 7-4, but the Pirates actually brought the tying run on deck last night. And Ramirez with that home run was 1 for 4 yesterday. His third home run as a Pirate, 14th overall. And a jam shot roller to short. Segura will make the play, and that's a heck of a start for Zach Davies. Welcome to the big leagues. He's got a scoreless first inning in the books. A scoreless inning, 3 ground ball outs, and hopefully he'll have many more just like it. Babyface pitcher and a babyface manager, right? Craig Counsell in his first year as a big league skipper. His batting order today brought to you by Potawatomi, with Segura, Lucroy, and Braun at the top. Davis, Lind, and Santana in the middle, with Perez getting the start at third. Herrera moves to second base tonight, and Davies will round out the starting 9. Left-hander Jeff Locke on the mound for the Pirates. It's his 4th start against the Brewers this year.
Yeah, he's 2-1 so far this year with a .253 earned run average. The Brewers beat him back here at Miller Park in July. His first 2 starts of the year were against the Brewers. He won them both. He's 4-3 overall in 10 starts. Last time out, beat the Miami Marlins. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs.
Gene Segura back in the leadoff spot tonight with the left-hander on the mound as Jeanette sits. Segura with 2 hits and 3 runs batted in last night. Heck of a game for him, and he's up there hacking away early. Good ball game for the Brewers last night. They win the opener. They have been able to pick up 3 wins on this homestand. Took 2 out of 3 from the Reds, and 2 games remaining.
It jumped on Garrett Cole very quickly, 4 in the first.
And had a 5-0 lead after 2 innings yesterday. Won the game 7-4, making a winner out of Jimmy Nelson. That's fair, just inside the bag. And that'll go for extra bases for Segura. It's a leadoff double. Segura is starting to heat him up at the plate.
Man, it seems like Gene's being a little bit more aggressive up there at the plate, trying to get the bat head out. Ramirez a little bit late on the dive and rolls down the left field line down in the corner. It's a good start to the night for Milwaukee once again.
So Segura with a leadoff double sets it up for Lucroy, who's sitting on a 9-game hitting streak coming into play tonight, and a batting average of .258 coming in. He is hit Locke well in his career as well. He's a .381 career hitter, 8 for 21 at the plate against this left-hander, and 5 walks against him. Now the Brewers offense would love nothing more than to give their young pitcher some breathing room early. For whatever reason, the Pirates have struggled against the Central Division of the National League this season. And the Brewers have a winning record against Pittsburgh, now 7-6 against the Pirates. Having won 4 straight.
Yeah, if the Pirates don't catch the Cardinals, they can blame themselves and the record against their own division.
Hard to figure. Pirates are 28 games over 500. They're 6 games behind the Cardinals. They are 4.5 games ahead of the Cubs for the second wild card spot. And yet, against the Central Division in the National League, they're 21-30.
Yeah. Well, plenty of games left against the Central. They have 6 games left with the Cardinals.
While the Pirates have won 7 of 10, the Cardinals have won 9 out of 10. They've actually dropped a couple of games in the standings. And now LUCROY steps out. Cervelli's on his way out.
Pirates lost last night. Cardinals won again. Cardinals now 86-46. How about that? Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, Brandon Moss with a walk-off yesterday. We'll be keeping track of all those games going on in baseball. All the important games. There are some finals in. The Reds beat the Cubs earlier today. Joey Votto hit a late home run in that one to give the Reds the win. Cardinals and Nationals are just underway, top of the first inning. No balls, 2 strikes on LUCROY with Segura at second. And LUCROY back up the middle. That's going to sneak through, a base hit. And here comes Segura. He will score. And the Brewers strike first again. Jonathan LUCROY with an RBI single.
Well, almost a carbon copy of last night. The Brewers go to put their first 4 hitters on base, 4 consecutive hits to give themselves a 4-0 lead. And Jonathan now with a 10-game hitting streak. He got that out of the way quickly. I mean, he's red hot right now. He's got that average around 260 and driving in some runs.
So LUCROY, who drove in a run yesterday on 2 hits, has a hit in his first try here tonight, setting up Ryan Braun with a runner at first. A double and a single. This game starting out just like it did last night. Early activity in that Brewers batting order as Braun takes strike 1 from Locke.
Yeah, Jeff Locke, basically fastball, curveball, changeup. He's got a good changeup. A lot of changeups to right-handed batters, more curveballs to the lefties. Of course, there's only one left-handed hitter in the lineup tonight from Milwaukee. That's Adam Lind.
Ryan Braun is a .308 career hitter against Locke. He is 8 for 26. And one of those 8 hits is a home run. Ryan with 24 homers this season. That's tied for 10th in the National League. He is tied for 8th in RBIs with 78. Comes in batting .278. Braun has an OPS right now over 850. And his on-base percentage has actually started to rise a little bit in this wave in August. And yesterday, in the first game of September, Braun was 1 for 3, had an RBI.
And the average starting to climb, too. He's pushing 280.
Up and in, 3 balls and a strike.
Brewers are like nothing better than a nice strong September finish to put a little bit of a nail in some of the coffins in the Central Division. Maybe make it a little bit tougher for the Cubs and the Cardinals and Pirates.
Yeah, going to see them all. Going to see the Pirates again next week in Pittsburgh. Hitters count for Braun with LUCROY at first. 3-2 it goes. Brewers are going to head out on the road after tomorrow's game with the Pirates. Got a trip to Cincinnati to start the road trip, then Miami. Labor Day in Miami. Don't forget that's a day game Monday. And then that 3-game series in Pittsburgh. Actually, 4-game series in Pittsburgh, I should say. Thursday through Sunday. And then the Brewers will be back here September 15th. Cardinals and Reds are coming in. Brewers have 2 series remaining against the Pirates, 2 against the Cardinals, 2 series with the Reds. Same with the Cubs. They actually finished the season against the Cubs here at Miller Park. And it looks like the National League Central is going to be a 3-team postseason this year, with the Cardinals leading the division and the 2 wild card spots with Pittsburgh and the Cubs. A lot of baseball to play, but that's where it stands right now. Yeah, swing and a miss. Braun out in front of a changeup, and Locke picks up his first out. It's a strikeout in this first inning.
Yeah, let's check out the Pirates Menards defense. It's not been a very good year defensively for the Pirates, although that outfield's been pretty good this year. They've got good throwing arms out there. Got Ramirez, Gung, Walker, and Alvarez from third to first. Pedro Alvarez not very good over at first base, but Francisco Cervelli, their good catcher behind home plate. He's had a nice season.
Here's Chris Davis with one away. And Davis into the gap left center. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Can LUCROY score? They are going to send him. LUCROY on his way. The throw to the plate, and he's safe. RBI double for Chris Davis. 2-0 Milwaukee.
And that first pitch fastball, Chris Davis didn't let it go by, right down the middle. He's able to center on it and drive it into the gap, and Jonathan Lucroy able to score all the way from first base. Brewers have been very aggressive running the bases against this very good throwing outfield. Even Jonathan Lucroy with 1 out, Ed Cedar sending him, and he's able to score easily all the way from first base.
So Davis with his 14th double to go along with 17 homers. And he drives in a run. RBI number 47 for Davis. Lucroy's mad dash all the way around from first. 2-0 Brewers. Here's Adam Lind.
Man, a little lineup shuffle for Craig Counsell. Works out with a left-hander on there. He puts Davis in the cleanup spot, drops Lind down, and it paid off right away.
And now Lind a chance to drive in a run. Lind against left-handed pitching is hitting .215 this year. And Cervelli on his way out.
It's a bit deceiving at .215 because a lot of his success has come lately. Recent success against lefties. They're off to a tough start against the Southpaws this year. Brewers overall have done well against left-handed starters. They're actually 14-15 in games started by lefties this year.
And for a team that's 19 games under 500, that is a success. Got a 2-0 lead out of the gates here tonight. RBIs from Lucroy and Davis, still just 1 out. And Lind on the ground. The shift is on. Backhanded by Walker, and there is out number 2. Davis on the play advances to third. And 2 men are out for Domingo Santana. Santana getting plenty of playing time and back in center field tonight. He was 0 for 3 last night. Does have 3 home runs and 4 runs batted in as a Brewer. Been with the ball club a couple of weeks now. It'll be 2 weeks on Friday.
And playing just about every day out there in center field late in the game with a lead. They Move Santana either to left or center and bring Schaefer in.
That was the move last night. Santana says he's most comfortable in a corner outfield spot. Right field is his natural position. Has that great throwing arm out there. Craig Counsell and company have told him just do the best you can in the outfield. Try to make the adjustments. You're not being evaluated on your center field play right now. You're in the lineup because of your bat. So take care of your business defensively and make the smart plays. Don't try to make the great plays. And
he's playing very deep out there in center field, playing very cautious. Just an opportunity to get 4 or 5 at bat tonight. That's what it's all about.
He told me he doesn't hear the ball the same in center field. He can't quite gauge contact by the crack of the bat. I think a lot of that has to do with coming from the minor leagues to the major leagues.
Sounds a little different in these stadiums.
You get that big league wood, right? These major league players get the best lumber.
Well, the echoes in these multi-deck stadiums.
Yeah, that's a good point. 1-2 pitch is fouled away. Well, the Brewers are hoping he takes this month, and it'll end up being about 6 weeks when it's all said and done. He takes advantage of the playing time, learns. They say he's a very smart hitter, makes adjustments. Had a great year in AAA this year, did Santana. You combine his numbers from the Astros minor league system and then the Brewers minor league system, and he put up very gaudy numbers at AAA. And that's why Craig Counsell says he has earned the right to play in the big leagues. There's not much more he can do in AAA.
And what a great opportunity for him this year here with Milwaukee, with a lot of auditions going on for next year and getting playing time every day. Certainly wouldn't have that opportunity with the Astros this year.
Very crowded outfield there, and in a pennant race. On the ground to short, this is Jung, and he winds it up, takes care of Santana. That will retire the side. But what a start for the Brewers again. A 2-spot on the board, started by a double from Segura. LUCROY drove him in, and then Davis brings in LUCROY from first. In the first inning, he's got a lead to work with as we head to the second. It's time for the annual Milwaukee Bucks golf event benefiting the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. This year's event is on Tuesday, September 22nd at the River Club of Mequon. It's an 11 a.m. shotgun. Sign your foursome up today. You can visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the upcoming events tab for details. Second inning, the Pirates coming up. It'll be Jung Gung, Neil Walker, and Pedro Alvarez. Gung homered last night as well. Followed Ramirez, and there's another timeout asked for and granted. That's a third one already.
You see, Tony Randazzo's the guy that's got to be careful with that. Cran's starting to get a little bit irritated.
And he pours a strike in there. Yeah, McCutchen did it twice.
Can't blame the hitter. I mean, the umpire is the one that's calling the timeout, and he's calling it late.
He loved Davies' tempo as it is. I'm sure his infielders and outfielders appreciate that. Working fast
and throwing strikes.
Wow, what a changeup. That's his signature pitch right there. That thing,
79 miles an hour. It drops right off the table.
Man,
look at him. He's on that rubber, ready to go, and Gung just got in the box.
If only all the pitchers were this way in baseball. Another changeup, fouled away. Davies, as I mentioned, was a middle infielder all the way through his amateur days until his junior year of high school, and you think, well, it's been a while. Now he's in the big leagues. You realize that was 5 years ago.
Right.
When he made the transition.
Yeah, 2011 draft.
Davies decided to take a chance at the pro game, and that is a gamble that has paid off because he has made it to the big leagues. And there's a strikeout, his first major league strikeout to fellow rookie Jung Gung.
That's just a terrific changeup. You know what I like most about the way he's going about his business? He's throwing inside, fastball inside, changeups, breaking balls away, and when you speed the bat up like that, throwing inside, even when it's not for a strike all the time, it's really going to open up that off-speed stuff, that changeup, the circle change that he throws.
Everything he throws, his mechanics, very traditional. Just gives you an idea that if you perfect what is traditional and what has worked for years, decades, centuries in the game of baseball, then you can have success no matter the body type. He certainly had a lot of success in the minor leagues. I think you can throw out his Colorado Springs numbers a little bit. He had one bad start down there, giving up 5 earned runs in a start. ERA was around 5. Colorado Springs, a very tough place to pitch. I think his numbers in Norfolk this year, AAA with the Orioles, are a pretty good gauge of what he is and the kind of pitcher that he has been this year.
Yeah, 2.84 earned run average in 18 starts. Very good for AAA.
1-2 to Neil Walker, and in the air, center field, hit deep. Santana plays deep, and he's got it for the second out.
He's thinking right there, that's out of there in Colorado Springs. That's a homer.
No question.
Good to be in Milwaukee.
Which is not exactly a pitcher-friendly ballpark. Now wait till he gets to Miami next week.
Right.
So 2 men are out, and here is Pedro Alvarez, who also homered in last night's game. He hit a rocket out of here, but it wasn't enough. Jimmy Nelson was great last night. 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. He got the win, his 11th win. Francisco Rodriguez knots the save. He threw 1 pitch to get his 32nd save of the year.
Yep, change up to Alvarez. He popped it up.
There's back-to-back change-ups from Davies, and it's 1-2 on Alvarez. It's still the best complement to a fastball that has ever been invented, the changeup.
It's easy on the arm.
LUCROY wants another one. Tripling up on the change, and a swing and a miss. How about that? Just stick with your catcher, kid. Well done. 3 up, 3 down. A couple of strikeouts in the second.
making his major league debut here tonight, and here from Chandler, Arizona, feeling every pitch along with Zach Davies, taking in the excitement and anxiety of his debut are his parents, Eric and Maria. And congratulations, first of all, to you and your family for Zach coming up here, joining the Brewers. But Maria, we caught you in a terrific moment with Zach yesterday. He came out to greet you guys in his major league uniform, and you just dissolved into tears. What is it like to see him here at Miller Park and pitch in his first major league game?
It's so amazing. We're so proud of him. He's such a good young man, and he's worked so hard over the years. And I think I was really calm until that moment, and then it just hit me, and just the pride, and so happy for him.
His first season with AAA, and you knew this was a possibility he could come up. So how does this moment compare with maybe what you thought it could be?
You know, I really didn't think a whole lot of the moment when we heard, but the moment's incredible. Everyone here is amazing. The organization is terrific, and they've welcomed Zach and us, and so we're really excited to be here.
You've had the camera out. You've been snapping all the pics, getting all the action photos. And Eric, we were talking a little bit, too, just Zach has had to deal with a lot of adversity. We know the size. He's heard that criticism throughout his entire career. So for you, how satisfying is it to see him come up for his debut?
It's amazing. You see all kinds of kids that are smaller in stature, and you hear the stories about them, you know, bucking adversity all the time. And Zach has done that, and we're extremely proud of him and what he's done.
We already saw that signature changeup. How old was he when he started to develop that pitch, and how it goes along with his fastball?
We've been throwing that since he was 8, 9 years old. But we knew that it was a really good pitch in high school. That's where it started to really develop, and folks had started to say that's a real plus pitch.
Your family lives in Chandler, Arizona, so spring training will be great. You'll have him home. How much are you looking forward to seeing him continue his career here with the Brewers?
Absolutely. We can't wait to have him for an extra month and a half during the year instead of having him fly off to Florida and missing him.
And Maria, we were saying you were looking forward to continuing having him at home as well.
Yes, definitely. And it'll be exciting to go out there to spring training and bring some of the people and friends. And he has a whole following there in Arizona right now that are watching him play. And they'll be excited to see him in Arizona.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. And BA, we'll go back up to you.
All right. Thanks, Sophia. As you see, Zach Davies, he's getting ready for his first major league at bat. Francisco Cervelli was hit by that foul ball and needing a minute to recover. One knee down is sometimes not a great idea.
Yeah, that kind of, you leave yourself a little bit exposed that way, but sometimes when you're catching every day, that's about as relaxed as you can get behind home plate. Sometimes you pay for that.
That might have got him on maybe the ankle or that right leg that was up. The foul ball got him somewhere in there, foot, ankle, shin. And he took a minute, so he's going to be all right. That's good.
He's an impressive catcher. I mean, I've been watching him this year, and you know, with Cervelli behind home plate, the way he's been able to, you know, handle himself back there, calling the game. There's no talk about Russell Martin around Pittsburgh. He's filled in nicely.
One away for Elian Herrera. 0-2 is the count, and a swing and a miss. Cervelli blocks this one. We'll have to secure it at first. Does so. And Locke with his second strikeout. 2 outs, and here comes Zach Davies in his first major league at bat with a brand new shiny helmet. Davies is, now remember, he was a high school middle infielder, but not something that he's done a lot is swing the bat at the professional ranks. He's been in the Orioles system. So minor leaguers don't bat when you're with an American League ball club. Got a decent swing though, and he's up there hacking.
Maybe not that far removed from swinging a bat in high school.
Yeah, he arrived at the ballpark yesterday. He rushed to get his uniform on and get out for starting pitchers batting practice, which is before the regulars hit. He couldn't wait to get out there and swing the bat, and this was the moment that Sophia was referencing and that we were talking about earlier. And wow, what a, see that kind of emotion, all that history for a mother to see her son in a major league uniform for the first time. That was a beautiful moment.
Yep, all those years on the bleachers from mom and dad, and finally paying off. You get a nice cushy seat and a nice ballpark now.
Now Davies in his professional career has just 7 at-bats. Did have a hit earlier this year with Colorado Springs. 5 of those 7 at-bats came with Colorado Springs after the trade to the Brewers. Well, he makes contact. He's worked it into a 3-2 count. Looks pretty calm and poised.
No, that's why he's here, right? I mean, he wouldn't be here if the Brewers didn't feel as though, and the Orioles as well. I mean, out in AAA, didn't think he's got some poise. He handles himself well.
It's his girlfriend Megan recording this at bat as well. 3-2 pitch, and he's hanging tough. That's all you want out of a pitcher at the plate. Give him a good battle up there.
You know, we could tell Megan that we can give her a disc of the game. She doesn't have to bother doing that.
I know. We have lots of cameras with a lot of.
This is the big leagues. It's on TV.
Really expensive zoom lenses. 3-2 pitch on the ground. Walker backhands it, and that will retire the side. That's a good at bat though. Hung in there. The Zach Davies shows continue. We head to the 3rd inning. Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business.
Well, the homestand ends tomorrow against the Pirates at 6:20. Note the start time 6:20 p.m. with the Brewers dynamic deals. You can find a great deal on tickets, including field outfield seats for just $35 and terrace reserve tickets for $15. To reserve your spot, go to brewers.com/tickets.
Zach Davies ready to start his 3rd inning, and he'll face Francisco Cervelli, the pitcher Jeff Locke, and then back to the top of the order and the 2nd time through the batting order, which will be an interesting study. All these hitters, having not seen Davies, trying to get as much information as they can. But you look at Davies, and I would say again that everything he throws is pretty traditional. There's the 4th step out. Tell you what, this Brewers dugout is about to erupt.
Yeah, this is on Tony Randazzo. That's what it's the umpire, not the hitter.
Cervelli on the first pitch gets jammed, and Segura will make the play. Cervelli still a little banged up after that foul ball, not running well at all.
And Cervelli was in the box initially. He had the hand up, and Zach Davies was waiting for him, and then he started to get in position and called timeout again for some reason, and Home plate umpire continues to give these guys time out.
The stare down from pitching coach Rick Kranitz. There's a strike to Locke. If every major league pitcher worked like this, and there are a few out there, but most of them don't, Major League Baseball wouldn't need to employ speed up rules in the game.
Wouldn't need the clock between innings.
I mean, think about guys like Mark Burley and Clayton Richard works extremely fast. Some pitchers, it just takes a while mentally. It's not that they don't want to work fast. It just takes a while to get all the thoughts put together. And Davies is very committed. He's got a good changeup going early. Makes Locke look silly in a swing and a miss. Third strikeout. All of them on the change. 2 outs here in the third inning. Now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag #WithStateAStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile.
The other thing, Zach Davies is going to have to get used to teams stepping out on him. And this is going to get out very quickly. He likes to work fast. And one of the ways that you get a guy out of his rhythm is to continue to step out, slow him down a little bit. He's going to have to make that adjustment.
It doesn't seem like it's bothering him much. He's been very poised, and he flips a curveball up there on Polanco. Haven't seen too many of those thus far. Plus fastball command is how he scouted. Plus curveball, plus changeup. And he zips a fastball in at 88. And with all that off-speed stuff, that looks like it's about 93, I would imagine. 0-2 is the count. And a changeup misses.
You like the way he throws that change. He hasn't left one up yet. Everything down and away and going away from a left-handed hitter.
LUCROY wants a fastball. And a sinker is low. 2-2 the count. Polanco grounded to second his first time up. Davies has 3 strikeouts thus far. First time through the batting order. 3 strikeouts with 4 ground ball outs. Part of that great outfield in Pittsburgh, Gregory Polanco.
Guys can throw. They cover a lot of ground. They have good throwing arms. But the Brewers have been taking liberties so far in the series. The first 2 games have been running on these guys, and with some success.
Polanco into left center field. That ball's hit well. Santana in the gap will run it down. And Zach Davies with a 3-up, 3-down third. He's got 3 scoreless innings in the book.
but the Crew has a 2-0 lead. And tonight's time of the game winner, Beer Bellies in Princeton. That's actually in Green Lake County. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game of April or May of next year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Beer Bellies. We don't call them beer. He pointed at me.
Don't be looking at me.
I wasn't looking at your beer belly, Rock, at all.
Oh, okay, you did it anyway.
We call those table separators. You pointed right at me. You cut me at the knees.
I dared you, and you did it, and you did it.
Gene Segura will lead off. Brewers put 2 on the board in the first inning. Segura had a double to start it and scored the first run. 2 runs on 3 hits in the first. Davies, 3 scoreless innings, only a walk on his card tonight. Segura's having a nice homestand. Drove in 3 last night. Now 7 hits on the homestand. He's 7 for 17 at the plate. With 4 runs batted in. He's hit well against the Pirates this year, and 1 of his 4 homers have come against Pittsburgh. He's got a batting average up over 300 against the Pirates this season.
It just seems as though he's swinging the bat a lot more aggressively in the last week to 10 days than he was throughout the year. Maybe trying to drive the ball a little bit more.
Here's Jung on a little jam shot roller, and Segura is the first out. So that's 6 in a row now after the RBI double off the bat of Davis. Locke has settled in a bit. Here comes LUCROY. LUCROY with his 8th hit on the homestand with that RBI single in the first inning. This is game 5 of the homestand. LUCROY 8 for 15. And now 6 runs batted in the first 5 games of this Reds Pirates homestand.
Yep, looking for a nice strong finish in September, and average at 260. Hits are starting to fall.
A cue shot foul by LUCROY. So LUCROY, since coming off the disabled list, is hitting 278. He went on the DL in April, 3rd week of April, came back the last day of May, did go to a minor league rehab for a couple of days down in Brevard County, single A. A broken toe put him on the disabled list. Foul ball right off the left big toe. And so you take his June, July, and August numbers, and LUCROY starting to look like the hitter that he was last season. Yeah. He set a major league record for doubles by a catcher.
Yeah, hitting about 500s in his 10-game hitting streak now that he extended in his first at bat. He was at 133 before going on the DL. Hard to believe.
3-1 pitch. LUCROY into left field off the end of the bat, and that's going to be run down by Marte. 2 outs. That'll bring up Ryan Braun. And he's in our Carsoup.com trivia tonight. Which 3 active players have hit more homers in their home ballpark than Ryan Braun? 3 active players, more homers in their home ballpark. That's a good question. Got to think about some longevity there.
One's in Philly, I bet.
Yeah, that's a good call. Might be a couple there.
Yeah.
Maybe Philly and Detroit. How's that feel?
Yeah, Detroit. How about Boston?
Not a bad call. We'll have the answer for you at some point. Braun up there with 2 away. And a little half swing. He goes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the changeups are on display tonight from Locke and Davies.
Yeah, it was the big fastball last night, right, with Garrett Cole and Jimmy Nelson. It's the changeup night tonight.
On the ground, that's in the hole. That'll sneak through, a base hit. So Ryan Braun with a 2-out single. We'll keep the inning alive for Chris Davis.
He got in on his hands that time, but Ryan able to get enough of it. Sneak it in the hole. Right down in the trademark and into left field for a base hit for Ryan Braun. He continues to swing a good bat.
Yeah, 1 for 3 last night. Braun with his first hit tonight. Now 5 hits on the homestand, including a home run against the Reds. His 24th of the year. Davis up there with a double and an RBI in the first inning. Davis stepping in, wasting no time against Jeff Locke. First ball swinging and hits a bullet into the gap in left center. LUCROY scoring all the way from first. That was the second run for the Brewers in that 2-run first.
That is a good changeup. You're right. It's a good night for changeups. Good night for young kids to watch these two guys not throwing hard and getting outs, keeping hitters off balance.
Now Locke is making his 11th career appearance against Milwaukee tonight. This year he's made 3 starts prior to tonight. 2.53 earned run average. He beat Mike Fiers back in April. Matter of fact, his first 2 wins of his season were against the Brewers in April, beating Fiers and Loesch. Lost to Taylor Youngman back on July 19th. And those are the numbers.
Yeah, part of the Brewers 3-game sweep here against the Pirates in July.
And since that time, the Pirates have posted the best record in the National League during a stretch. Slow roller, third base. That's going to stay fair. Ramirez can only watch it roll. Infield hit for Chris Davis.
Yep, he hit it like he threw it. A change up, and Davis beats it into the ground, and he'll take that any day. He'll take a base hit. That makes up for a couple of line drive outs.
Hitters don't buy that notion that they all even out, though.
Neither do pitchers.
So Adam Lind will get a shot here with 2 on. Brewers trying to cook up something with 2 outs. And neither ball hit all that well, but Milwaukee a chance to add to it. As Lind into left center, falling fast. It's down, a base hit. Braun comes in to score. And Adam Lind makes it 3-0 Milwaukee with a 2-out RBI single.
Another jam shot. Ryan Braun extended the inning with a jam shot, a base hit into left, a swinging bunt for Davis, and now another jam shot. All this come with 2 outs and nobody on. 3 consecutive hits, and none of them really hit all that hard.
Mike Guerrero talking through it with Adam Lind, first base coach. Cervelli doing the same with Jeff Locke. So Lind now with 74 runs batted in. Drove in a pair last night with a double in the first inning. Just keeps putting up the numbers. 2 on, 2 out. A run is in. Here is Santana. Got to be ready for that first pitch with him. And Locke misses inside.
Yeah, he likes to work in. He'll double up inside too. Hasn't really been able to find the corner inside, though. Missing in off the plate.
Santana on the ground, and Ramirez gloves it. Will make the easy throw to second to end the inning. Side retired, but the Brewers add one to it. They get an Adam Lind RBI single. It's 3-0 Crew.
Hey, it's Scooter Gennett Gnome Day at Miller Park this coming Sunday. Actually, September 20th, the Brew Crew takes on the Reds, and all fans get a Scooter Gennett Garden Gnome, courtesy of Waterstone Bank. To reserve your spot, call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today. Tomorrow is the Nodder, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
The
bobblehead.
No, the Nodder was last Sunday.
Oh, was it?
Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow is the only thing we're doing tomorrow is starting a little bit earlier, and we're going to get on an airplane and fly to Cincinnati.
6:20. Thank you. So I have to bring my luggage tomorrow?
Correct. Bring your
so
luggage.
they gave away the Nodder already.
That was Sunday. You were here for that.
Right. You weren't.
Right. I was not.
But you remember I don't.
There's another step out by Marte.
And see, this is why I should never go off the card.
Just don't ad-lib, Rock. It's September. It's the final full month of the year. Just read what you have in front of you, and you'll be just fine. 0-1 pitch. Marte lines one to left. And that's going to go to the wall. Marte on his way to second with a double. That snaps an 0 for 21 streak at the plate for Starling Marte. He's really been scuffling. That's the first hit of the ball game for the Pirates. And it's a leadoff double in the fourth inning.
Well, second time through is going to be a very interesting to watch. I mean, fastball that was down but out over the plate. LUCROY wanted it inside, and Davies, first time he's really missed with his location, and Marte able to double down the line.
And now Andrew McCutchen at the plate. Brewers lead 3-0. 2 in the first, just added 1 in the third. And a swing and a foul by McCutchen.
And we'll see if Davies is just as quick a worker in the stretch as he is in the windup.
That's a good point. This is only his second at bat from the stretch. Pitched out of the stretch to Ramirez in the first inning. After the McCutchen walk. Andrew McCutchen. He's in the group up for discussion for the MVP. Bryce Harper, Paul Goldschmidt, McCutchen. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that one's inside. 2-1.
Certainly the heart and soul of this Pirates offense. He's about as consistent as it gets. Hits for power. He's in there every day. Not 100% either. He hasn't been running like he has earlier in his career.
Back in there. Davies misses. 3-1. They got off to a slow start, and as he was going, so were the Pirates. But then as McCutchen caught fire, the Pirates did as well. McCutchen has been the best in the National League batting with runners in scoring position. Has a .386 batting average with a runner at second and or third. And that's ball 4. Boy, that's not missing by much.
Yeah, and McCutchen has been getting some pretty close pitches called balls. Goodness.
So the second walk for McCutchen. Second walk issued by Davies. And that'll bring up Aramis Ramirez now with 2 on and nobody out.
Well, 2 of the pitches in that at bat were pretty close. I mean, they look like strikes. And first time that Davies has been in trouble.
Ramirez always eager to swing at the first pitch if it's to his liking. Takes a strike. Aramis is tied for the most double plays grounded into this year, by the way. Tied with Matt Duffy of the Giants, Johnny Peralta of the Cardinals. Davies would love to get a ground ball here to turn 2. And that one is high and deep left center field. Ramirez watching this one, and it is gone. A 3-run homer. And just like that, this game is all tied up. Aramis Ramirez homering in consecutive games against his old club.
Man, one of those high towering home runs that have been used to seeing over the course of the last 3 years. A fastball down and in. Ramirez finally gets out of the batter's box after that baseball. After he realized that baseball is going to be a home run. Not sure why he didn't run right away, but that's Aramis. Boy, he put the wood on that one, down and in, and knocked it out of here. Just like that, tied game.
And one swing of the bat. So here is Jung now, and he swings and lines one to right. Braun is there. And the first out of the inning. Ramirez with his 3rd Pirates homer. But he has 24 runs batted in now in 31 games for the Pirates.
He's a run producer without a doubt. Always has been. You think he might be one of the answers in that trivia question? I mean, he's had a number of home ballparks. 3 of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe so. Change up and a swing and a miss to Walker.
Pirates, Cubs, Brewers. Aramis Ramirez.
There's a fastball, misses. 1-1 to Walker. Switch hitting second baseman. Pirates have a lot of power up and down their lineup. Neil Walker has 13 homers this year. Swings and misses at another changeup. A good pitch for him.
He hasn't made any mistakes with that pitch. The 2 mistakes that he's made today have come on the fastball.
Last year, Walker hit 23 homers for the Pirates. Won the Silver Slugger Award, given to the best hitter at that position.
Just about all his power comes as a left-handed hitter.
And he takes a ball just off the plate. Full count to Walker. Walker leads the National League in doubles and in extra base hits. Hitting in front of Alvarez these days. And a ground ball to Lind. He'll gobble it up. Davies is there for him. And there is out number 2. Got him with a changeup. So 2 men are out. Here is Alvarez now, who struck out in the second inning on 3 consecutive changeups from Davies.
So he's seen 4 pitches in the last 2 days, 1 from K-Rod and 3 from Davies, all changeups.
That's right. That looked like a little slider right there. Pedro Alvarez hit number 22 last night off Corey Knebel. Three and 0 to Alvarez. Got to be careful here. He'll swing 3 and 0. He has the green light for sure. And LUCROY asks for a changeup and gets one for a strike.
Yeah, right on the outside corner. Keep throwing it till he hits it.
Wants another one. And Alvarez doesn't bite. So there's ball 4. Second walk of the inning. The third walk issued by Davies. Got a man on with 2 outs for Cervelli. One swing of the bat tied this game up. Ramos Ramirez, a 3-run homer. After a leadoff double by Marte, McCutchen walked. And that's why he stays in the lineup every day for Clint Hurdle. A curveball strike to Cervelli. I'm guessing he didn't like that call from Tony Randazzo.
Yeah. Wouldn't have been a strike to McCutchen, though.
No, definitely not. And looks like it wasn't a strike to Cervelli either, but he got a call. Cervelli hangs that elbow right over home plate and wears that brace, that protective guard, for that reason.
Yeah. Pirates get hit a lot. They get hit by more pitches than any team in the National League. Not just because they stand on top of home plate, but one of the reasons might be that their pitching staff hits more hitters than any team in the National League. So they say live by the sword, right?
Still chicken and the egg theory.
Right.
Depends on which camp you ask. 2 balls and a strike on Cervelli. 3-1 now. Cervelli's been hit 7 times this year. It's the most in his career, but he's playing more than he ever has in his career.
Pirates have been hit 75 times.
Hitters count. Runner at first. And Cervelli into center field. Santana's right there. That will end the inning. But Ramos Ramirez with a 3-run homer. And we're all tied at 3 now. A 3-run homer to tie this game as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Say, if you want to play like a big leaguer, we give you a chance. It's called Brewers Fantasy Camp, January 31st to February 7th. Robin Yount's going to make an appearance there. He'll sign some autographs. Bob Uecker's coming as well.
Can I circle that?
Sure.
I tell you, since we've announced Robin Yount's attendance at Brewers Fantasy Camp, we've had a number of sign-ups, a number of registrations come through.
I think the most important part of that is the daily hot breakfast.
Right.
And the other most important part is the professional athletic trainers access. Those are the two things that you're going to require the most. You got to load up, carb up, and then you're going to be seeing a lot of the trainer.
Yep.
But it's a good herd.
You know, a lot of the wives, you know, the players, the fantasy campers come down on Thursday nights, spend Friday, Saturday. Got a lot of neat things planned for the wives this year. And, of course, you can always go to the ballpark and watch the games. But, you know, if you want to go do the wives adventure that we've got planned, you can partake in that as well.
Hernan Perez will lead off for the Brewers. And a brand new ball game here in the bottom of the 4th. Perez grounded to second base. He hit it sharply right back up the middle, but Walker, on a bit of a shift, was standing right there. Hernan got a start over the weekend against the Reds, but it had been a while prior to that start. With the left-hander on the mound, he's back in there tonight, and he's swinging a foul tip. 3-2 the count. Another newcomer to the Brewers this season. That was an early acquisition by the Brewers. Began his season in Detroit. Brewers claimed him off waivers on June 2nd. Played in 22 games with the Tigers and didn't play much. Most of that was pinch running, pinch hitting, maybe some defensive alignment. Hits that one sharply, but right at Jung. He's hit the ball hard twice. Nothing to show for it tonight.
And he's having a difficult time finding the lineup as of late. Against left-handers, he starts at third, but with the way Elian Herrera's been swinging the bat, he's been getting most of the playing time at third base.
So here is Herrera. It was interesting that when Hernan Perez was acquired by the Brewers, they had to have a spot on the 40-man roster. They took Elian Herrera off the roster. And Herrera at that moment had the decision to make whether he was going to stay in the Brewers organization as a minor league player on just a minor league roster or go elsewhere and just start up fresh with a new team, a new organization. So he surveyed the territory, said, you know what, I like this organization. They like me, I think.
Yep, and I think I have a pretty good opportunity to get back to the major leagues. And here he is, and he's swinging the bat well.
That was a good gamble. Now, Counsell is having a hard time taking him out of the batting order because of the way he's swinging the bat. Not all gambles pay off, but he did what he thought was right, and he was rewarded for it. He went down to AAA and had a great run at the plate. That's the main thing. That's the moral to the story. You can't go down back to the minor leagues and sulk. You've got to hit your way, play your way back to the big leagues, and he did that.
Yep.
Hit over 350 in AAA.
And the way he's playing right now, even if he's not in the Brewers' plans for next year, there's other teams that are watching.
He rolls to Ramirez. That'll be the second out. A couple of ground outs for Jeff Locke. 2 outs. Zach Davies coming up, and let's check in with Sophia.
Yesterday, talking to Davies about coming up and joining the Brewers, he said he was surprised, he was excited, but most of all, really looking forward to the opportunity. We talked to him about how he uses his fastball and his changeup, and he says that command has been something he's been focusing on, really, especially since his junior year of high school. He said as a young kid, he always played up against older kids, much bigger, stronger than he was, so he said he really learned to study the game, study hitters, lineups at a young age, and knew that he had to pitch with command, use all sides of the plate. And we've seen that with his changeup tonight.
Well, he's done that. I mean, hadn't thrown too many curveballs. It's been basically fastball both sides of the plate. Good movement on the fastball and a terrific changeup.
That ball's ripped into left center field, and it's going to fall. A base hit. And Davies with his first major league hit. It's a single with 2 outs. I don't make his family happy. Save that baseball.
I'll put a charge into that baby right there and ends up with a single. Marte got to it quickly. See, now there's no sure out in the big leagues. That fastball down the middle, and Davies able to stroke it into left center. Good for him.
Second hit as a professional. Had one in AAA. And now he's got one in the big leagues. He's on for Gene Segura. And Segura goes down the line. And we'll see how Davies can run. That's going to go all the way in the corner. Davies around third. And he'll be held. No! He almost ran through the stop sign. Almost ran into Ed Cedar. And Davies retreats.
And had he touched Ed Cedar, he would have been out. Davies so excited to try to score, he forgot about what Ed Cedar was telling him. So back-to-back pitches, a single and a double, and Gene Segura once again gets the bat head out and strokes one down the line and left, his second double. Ed's holding him up, saying, "Zach, get back." I don't think he would have scored. I think that would have been an easy out at home plate.
And I mean, if you're at Cedar, listen, in all fairness here, he's never seen Zach Davies run ever. He has no idea how fast he is, what kind of.
Well, the last thing you want is have your pitcher in a pile up at home plate. That's the last thing you want to do. Plus, you've got LUCROY and Braun coming up. I mean, worst case scenario, instead of having your pitcher try and score, you've got one of your hottest hitters stepping into the batter's box.
And by the way, Starling Marte has 12 outfield assists this year. That is best in the National League. So all of those factors. I know there was some boo birds coming out. The fans wanted to see Davies score, but that was the safe play there by Ed Cedar.
Yeah, Brewers didn't want to see Davies in a pile at home plate.
So that'll leave it up to LUCROY, and a Brewers a chance to take the lead again here. 3-3 game. LUCROY at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Extended his hitting streak to 10 in a row with that single and the RBI in the first inning. Last time up, he flew out to left. LUCROY, throughout his years as a Brewer, has been the best hitter with runners in scoring position. It's not the case this year, but consistently he's been one of the best producers with runners in scoring position, and especially with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
I mean, you know, guys that have the approach that Jonathan LUCROY's had since coming up to the big leagues normally are good in these spots, not trying to pull it. Not trying to hit home runs, hits it where it's pitched, uses right field well, and doesn't strike out a whole lot.
Locke's got him down 0-2. LUCROY drove in a run in the first on that RBI single to center. A base hit, if it touches the outfield grass, should score a couple of runs with Segura's speed at second base. No balls, 2 strikes. And LUCROY fouls one away. I think he got surprised by that fastball. That's the thing about a good changeup. Locke's only throwing 90 miles an hour. That's not an overpowering fastball by any stretch, but he can break a lot of bats and jam a lot of hitters with that fastball.
Yeah, it slows the bat down when you're throwing a changeup like the one Locke's throwing, the one Davies is throwing tonight. Changeups and fastballs in. That's what Jeff Locke likes to do.
See what he has in mind here. No balls, 2 strikes. He'll do it again. And a fastball inside. Just missed. Not by much. Pittsburgh has activity in their pen. They're carrying 10 relievers right now. I would imagine with one more hit, you might see Hurdle make a move.
Yeah, 8 hits for the Brewers already in 3+ innings.
One ball, 2 strikes. Second and third with 2 away, and LUCROY back up the middle. A base hit. Davies is in. Here comes Segura. He will score. And LUCROY cashes it in. 2 out, 2 strike, 2 RBI single. Brewers lead 5-3.
And that's why you don't send Davies with 2 outs. Well, you gotta get a survey of who's coming up when you're a third base coach, figuring out why you want to send a guy or not. And LUCROY doing what he does best, right back through the middle on a 1-2 pitch. Another fastball from Jeff Locke, all coming inside, and this time LUCROY able to find center field for 2 big RBIs. So the Brewers back-to-back innings started 2 outs, nobody on, able to put runs on the board.
And that'll be the end of the line for Jeff Locke out in the 4th inning. Pitching change at Miller Park. Sunday, Braun against the Cincinnati Reds belted his 24th homer of the year. Jumped him inside the top 10 in the league in homers. Powerball home run count for Braun this season. Got Davis and Lynn with 17 apiece.
That was a first pitch changeup.
Well, he is going to face Jared Hughes. Hughes is normally the late inning get out of jam guy. But we're in September baseball now with the expanded rosters, and Clint Hurdle is bringing on his sinker baller right here and now with 2 outs, and LUCROY at first.
Yeah, we saw him in last night's ball game. He pitched the 5th inning. So Clint Hurdle using him early. Pitched a scoreless inning. Actually walked Braun yesterday.
Second straight night that a Pirate starter has not been able to go 5 innings in a game. Locke goes 3 2/3, and this will be just 1 out for Hughes. His spot is due to lead off in the 5th, and you figure a pinch hitter is coming. So I give Clint Hurdle a lot of credit, though. You can't manage roles this time of year. You start sticking into bullpen roles, and the way you've done it the first 4 months of the season, 5 months of the season, it doesn't play in September. You got to Try to snuff out a rally when you can. You have the weapons now. You have the bullpen to do it.
And you got another late inning guy that you just picked up, Soria. You know, he's just got there at the trading deadline, so you bring in some of your good guys to snuff out a rally early. But this is real early.
And Braun, that's played by Hughes. Nice play. And that will retire the side. However, Jonathan Lucroy's having a night. Davies with a 2-out double, and Lucroy brings in 2. 5-3 Milwaukee. A 2-out single, double, 2 RBI single from Lucroy, giving the Brewers a 5-3 lead. Davies working fast, throwing strikes, so much so, Rock, the Pirates have been stepping out quite a bit in our Columbia St. Mary's worth another look. It's a developing theme in this game.
I see, that's a home plate umpire. I mean, guys could ask for time, but they're ready to go. They're sitting there ready, but Davies starts, and that's 4 times that Tony Randazzo's allowed them to get time out. That's 5 times actually. So
now twice by McCutchen. So we will have a pinch hitter to start the 5th inning. Jeff Decker, which is almost exactly how it unfolded yesterday. Decker had a hit in the 5th inning yesterday. Had a pinch hit single. And a fastball in there for a strike.
Change up then fastball.
Brewers led 3-0. And then Aramis Ramirez with a 3-run homer in the 4th to tie it. Decker goes to left, slicing. That's going to fall a base hit. Well, he's got 2 pinch hit at bats. He just got here from AAA as rosters expanded, and 2 hits.
Yeah, fastball, 2-seam fastball away, went right with it. Both base hits. One to center last night, and this one to left.
Here's Gregory Polanco now. Back to the top of the order. 3rd time through the order. 5th inning and a 5-3 Brewers lead. Polanco is 0 for 2 tonight. Starts him with a curveball. Final line on Jeff Locke, 3 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs all earned. Had a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, back-to-back innings. The Brewers had 2 outs, nobody on, and gave up 3 runs. Those are killers.
Now the Brewers have 6 hits with 2 outs. All those hits coming in the last 2 innings. Lind had the RBI in the 3rd inning with 2 outs, and then LUCROY just drove into last inning. Polanco out in front of it. The bigger the swing, the better for a changeup pitcher like Davies. He likes those guys that take the big hacks.
Big hacks, early swings, yeah. Guys like Alvarez.
And a swing and a miss. There's that changeup again. 2-2 on Polanco.
Such good arm action on it. I mean, you really can't tell if it's a fastball or a changeup. Kind of the same spin, just doesn't have the same speed on it.
Now his changeup is about 10 to 12 miles an hour slower than his fastball. But to a hitter, it all looks the same. Full count now. His fastball's topped out at 91. He's flipped that curveball up there at 71. First day in the big leagues. Zach Davies. In case there is any more trouble, Corey Knebel is getting loose. Saw him last night. Full count to Polanco. Runner goes. Pitch is popped up. Foul territory. And Perez will run out of room. Tall, rangy right fielder Gregory Polanco.
He can run. He hits for power. Power numbers are down right now, but no 7. But that's a pretty big ballpark unless you pull it if you're a left-hander.
One of the prize prospects out of the Pirates organization. Runner goes again in the air, center field. Santana will make the catch. Decker will retreat.
Hey, on Friday, September 18th, the Brewers will kick off Fan Appreciation Weekend with their annual scratch-off card giveaway. The crew takes on the Reds, and every fan is guaranteed to win a prize ranging from 2016 tickets to autographed memorabilia and more. Visit Brewers.com for details. It's going to stick right to the card.
Not this Friday.
Not going to add anything.
We'll be in Cincinnati.
The 18th.
That's the home game against the Reds.
Gotcha.
All right. You're in. You're all good now.
Made one mistake.
Glass houses. Swing and a miss by Marte.
I think my card reading this year has been exceptional. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it, but I needed to make that mention.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked lately, but I'm pretty sure the Twitterverse is all ablaze with your exceptional promo card reading this year.
Yeah, I put in the effort.
You're trending. Another swing and a miss.
You know what it was, I think? Yeah, Matt LePay's influence.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I mean, you're the best. I mean, you're
I don't know.
But you know what?
You tell him the same thing when he's here.
No, you're a great play-by-play guy, but you can't hold a candle to his promo reading.
He really gives it his all, does he?
He's good.
Well, I'll have to step my game up a little bit, I guess.
He's like an auctioneer. I think it's his radio background.
You mean the speed or the
enunciation
the
and
technique?
speed?
Wow.
The combination, that's a rare. It's tough to get.
Jam shot into right field, a base hit. And a snap throw to second base. Tell you, if Segura catches that ball from Braun, he might have an out. He was in a cutoff position for a play at third, and at the last moment
he snuck in there and almost was able to get the out at second base. The key is to hit the cutoff man, and if Segura is able to catch it, he tried to swipe the tag a little bit too soon.
And that's going to be the end of the line here for Zach Davies. So he will not be able to get through 5. Pirates with 2 on. And McCutchen coming up, and look at this crowd as Davies exits. Coming up and 2 on. A good showing today. I'm sure he would have liked to see better numbers, but that first time is out of the way, and he'll get plenty of chances to pitch deep into ball games, you would think.
Yeah, impressive the way he was able to change speeds. He worked quickly, and with Andrew McCutchen coming up representing the go-ahead run, Greg Counsell doesn't want to take any chances. 38th appearance for Knebel, a 366 earned run average. He's struck out the side last night, but gave up a home run to Pedro Alvarez. Coming in with a couple of men on and 1 out.
So a big spot here. Knebel facing McCutchen. The Brewers just got 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th to take a 5-3 lead. I'm sure Davies would love that one pitch back from Aramis Ramirez. He hit a 3-run homer. That was following a McCutchen walk. McCutchen's walked twice tonight. 1 out, 2 on. Decker and Marte running the bases. And Knebel starts him with a hook in there for a strike.
Came in last night throwing an awful lot of strikes, including that curveball.
Yeah, another one fouled away. McCutchen down 0-2. Knebel pitching in back-to-back games, something he didn't do a whole lot of until the month of August. Went back-to-back in the series against the Marlins. There's a called strike 3.
Yeah, right. Finally got a call, did the Brewer pitching staff. Well, back-to-back curveballs to start him out. The first curveball was taken by McCutchen, called a strike. Caught plenty of the plate. Now there's a hanger. That's the one he got away with. There was a hanger fouled off, and then that fastball, plenty of the plate, ringing him up. What a big out that is for Milwaukee.
Yeah, take a gamble when you throw a fastball to McCutchen, but he was looking for something else. 2 outs in the inning. Here is Aramis Ramirez now. And a strike. Caught the outside corner. Ramirez didn't think so. 3-run home run for the Pirates in the 4th. Tied the game briefly. Brewers got 2 in the bottom of the 4th.
That's when you need to throw that curveball to Ramirez. You leave it up in the zone, he will knock it out of here. Right where you want it, down in the dirt.
Last night, Knebel gave up a home run to Pedro Alvarez and then proceeded to strike the next 3 batters out, and in timely fashion too. It was impressive coming back after the home run. That ball's hammered down the left field line. That is fair, and it'll one-hop out, which is actually a break for the Brewers. Ramirez drives in a run with a double, but because it bounces out, Marte cannot score the tying run.
That's exactly what we were talking about. You throw that curveball, it better be down in the dirt. He leaves it up and in the inner half, and Ramirez is able to whistle it down that left field line. And hit it hard. Back-to-back curveballs, and one hops the fence and saves the Brewers a run.
Maintain the lead for now. That run will belong to Davies. So 4 earned runs in 4 1/3 at this point. And runners at second and third for Jung Ho Kang. Kang has been playing a lot since the All-Star break, and the numbers are stacking up. He is the extra base hit leader since the All-Star break in the National League. 21 extra bases. He's playing shortstop. Jordy Mercer was injured right here in Milwaukee, you might remember. Their starting shortstop on a collision with Gomez at second base. And Kang able to slide over and play short. He's played a little second this year, some third base. Valuable to have a guy like this who can play the shortstop position and then give you some offense too. There's a strike. 2-1.
It's a dangerous lineup, but they really haven't been swinging the bats all that well. When you have Neil Walker and Alvarez in the bottom half of the batting order, you know you have a pretty good setup.
And Kang a little bit late, popped him up. Herrera is over foul territory to end the inning. So the Pirates get 1, but the Brewers maintain their lead. And we head to the bottom of the 5th, 5-4.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. It's a 5-4 lead for Milwaukee here in the 5th. And in our Crew in the Community tonight, the Brewers Community Foundation and the Milwaukee Brewers congratulate the Greater Milwaukee Foundation on 100 years of service to the community. In honor of their 100th birthday, Greater Milwaukee Foundation invites all Milwaukeeans to visit Miller Park on September 13th for All Access Day, which is a one-of-a-kind opportunity to explore Miller Park behind the scenes, going into the batting cages, the media interview room, and also the visiting team clubhouse. You can also visit the new ceiling experience and take photos with Bernie and the sausages. And if you bring any school supplies, you'll also receive a one-of-a-kind commemorative player pin. So the park will be open from 9 to 5. They invite you to come again on September 13th.
And you can also see Sophia's spot down there, her famous Sophia spot by the dugout. There's Joe Blanton, long reliever's done a good job for the Pirates, a former Philly, former Oakland Athletic, and has resurrected his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Many thought his career was over. Healthy now and has performed in this long to middle relief role. He's got his stuff back.
He was picked up from the Kansas City Royals back on July 30th. And so he's bounced around quite a bit since his days as a starting pitcher with Philadelphia. Throws just about everything at you. Fastball, curve, slider, changeup, you name it.
Brewers saw Blanton in a starting role earlier this year. He's been lights out for the Pirates. Only one earned run allowed in 18 in the third innings. Davis pops it up in the infield. He's waiting for someone to call. That's Walker who wants it. And there is out number 1. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #WishDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast.
No.
Brought to you by T-Mobile.
See, that's not it.
Oh,
no, that's not it. That's just Ronnie Radio voice. That's not. I like the other way you do it. Don't try and compete with the guy.
Man.
You know? I mean, you just stay
coming up short.
Stay in your lane. You do a lot of things well.
Story of my life. Thanks, Mackenzie, by the way, for her photograph.
Sound like an auctioneer. That was good, though. Good effort.
Maybe we should have put all those on tape. The Matt LePay promos. He's got a big football game to get ready for this weekend, right?
We're going to be able to watch that, too. Saturday night. At least we will. Yeah, got a 1 o'clock game in Pittsburgh, or I should say Cincinnati.
Right.
And then the Badger Alabama game is 8 o'clock Eastern.
Might have to come up with a gentleman's wager with Jimmy Nelson, who played his college ball at Alabama.
That might be a Marcus Hannell wager.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Adam Lind, and a ground ball foul. Good play down there. That's how you do it. And Lind, his last time up, had an RBI single in the 3rd inning. Brewers got a 2-out run in that 3rd from Lind. They scored 2 with 2 outs. In the 4th inning, LUCROY had a 2-strike, 2-out, 2 RBI base hit. "5-4 Brewers. Zach Davies goes 4 1/3, 4 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Won't factor in the decision tonight. Didn't go the required 5 innings for a starter. Jimmy Nelson and Jonathan LUCROY having a chat with Zach Davies. That's good work.
Luke did a nice job with him. And not ever catching him before. I mean, one of the key components of a pitcher being able to work quickly is a catcher throwing down the right signs. I thought they worked pretty well together tonight.
Two and two to Lind. And another one off the end of the bat. Blanton made a start against the Brewers back on June 17th. That was in Kansas City, and he got the win. That was his first win of the year. He was pitching in the bullpen for the Royals. And they put him in a rotation. That ball's hit deep. McCutchen going back. He's at the wall, and it is gone. Adam Lind with a home run. Number 18 on the year. The Brewers get the run back. It's 6-4 Milwaukee.
Well, got a fastball down. He fought off a number of tough pitches, but it would have center on this one in the center field. Just kept carrying. McCutchen runs out of room.
So the Pirates get one on the top of the fifth. The Brewers answer. Santana with a big swing.
First home run for Adam Lind since August 11th. So it's been a while for Adam.
Stuck on 17 for 3+. 2 hits, 2 ribbies tonight for Lind. Santana swings and misses. 0-2. Bland had a tough time breaking into that very talented Kansas City bullpen. Santana to right field off the end of the bat, and Polanco is there for the second out. Well, Adam Lind, 75 runs batted in now with 18 homers on the season.
Dead center, hit it high, just kept carrying, and just over the wall out there in center field. Brewers get that run right back that the Pirates were able to pick up in the fifth.
Brewers were fortunate that Aramis Ramirez bounced one out for a ground rule double. Otherwise, the Pirates would have had 2 runs in. Game would have been tied. And then Knebel retired Jung to finish the inning, and now the Brewers have gotten it back as Perez takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Hernan. Perez has hit the ball hard twice, but 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of ground outs on his card.
He hit a bullet his last time up, a 1 hopper right at Jung at short, but didn't even have to move to grab it.
And he gets jammed in a pop-up foul territory. Alvarez for the 3rd out, but the Brewers get a run back. Adam Lind continues his successful campaign in a Brewer uniform. Home run number 18 makes it 6-4 Milwaukee. 18th home run of the season, and we go to the 6th inning with the Brewers leading by a pair. They've out-hit the Pirates 10-5. Pirates have 4 runs batted in from Aramis Ramirez tonight. Carsoup.com trivia: which 3 active ball players have hit more homers in their home ballpark than Ryan Braun? And the answers are there. Big Papi, Ryan Howard, and Miguel Cabrera. You got all 3, partner.
We had them, didn't we?
Ortiz with the Red Sox, Ryan Howard with the Phillies, and Cabrera, who is now the American League batting leader. Now that he's got enough at-bats, he's back in there. And then there's Braun. It's good company.
Yep, and then there's Cesar Jimenez, who's done a nice job for Craig Counsell out of that bullpen. One of 2 left-handers taking the spot of Neil Kotz. Kotz was traded to the Minnesota Twins, and Jimenez picked up off of waivers.
And Neil Walker greets him rudely. First pitch, Walker, the switch hitter, singles. And more traffic on the base paths. So Davies started. He's the only player called up as the roster's expanded, by the way, for the Brewers. Knebel came on to finish the inning, and now Jimenez trying to bridge the gap into the late relief for the Brewers. Here's Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez has had a good year against lefties this year. He's actually hit for a much higher batting average against left-handed pitching. .288 average with 3 homers. And is 11 for his last 22 against left-handed pitchers.
Yeah, he probably doesn't see many changeups from lefties. You know, right-handers really dominate Alvarez when they have a good changeup, keeping it down in the zone. Lefties typically don't throw left-handed hitters changeups. Might be one of the reasons. And the fact he hangs right in there. Willing to go to left field against left-handers, maybe looking more to pull against righties.
Alvarez with big pop. He is a liability defensively. You have to have power to stay in a lineup when you've had the defensive struggles that Alvarez has had. He's had some big years, though, with the Pirates, including last year.
He strikes out a lot, not very good defensively, but he can hit him as far as anybody. 18 errors at first.
A little cue shot foul. Now, 2 years ago was the big year I was thinking about for Alvarez. Last year he lost his job, got moved over to first base, and then Harrison ended up as the everyday third baseman. Remember, they brought in Ike Davis. But 2 years ago, Alvarez led the National League in homers. 36 homers. He drove in 100. Was an all-star in 2013. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2. The count goes full. Alvarez would have to have a big final month of the year, but he's got a chance to hit 30 again, which would be the 3rd time in his career he would hit 30 home runs. He's hit 22 in just 413 plate appearances this season. And as Clint Hurdle says, as long as he's driving in more than he's allowing to score, he's in there. Knuckle buster. And Jimenez will make the catch. Pitchers are told to evacuate the premises, but that was so much easier for Jimenez. And Alvarez is retired, the first out of the inning. Well, you can vote for your MVP and help us decide which Fox Sports Supports partner will be crowned the winner. The charity with the most votes at the end of this Brewer season will score big with a donation from Hupy and Abraham. Choose from American Heart Association of Wisconsin, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee, or Fisher House, Wisconsin. To vote, go to foxsportswisconsin.com/supports.
Terrific. Just be yourself.
I'm a little rattled now. I got to be honest.
Just got to be yourself. You can't try and be Matt LePay.
Just be the best you can be.
Just be yourself.
Cervelli up there with 1 out. There's a little change up for a strike.
See, it can't be the best at everything I've ever seen.
Well, it's an honor to sit next to you every night, most every night. You and all your ways.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that make you you. Hard to believe we're already in September.
You're going to get tested at Scooter Gnome, aren't you?
I am.
I mean, we have had bobbleheads and all kinds of different things up here. I've never seen you play with.
No, it's I'm in a double play situation. It's a gnome, so I feel there's mystical powers with it. So I'm just.
You spend a lot of time with that thing.
Plus, just in case something bad happens.
I'm just saying.
It's a pointy end.
It's not a bad thing. You're attached to it. It's okay.
2-1 the count. Cervelli, ground ball, chance to turn 2. And it's a 6-4-3 double play.
The gnome.
It's all about the gnome. The Scooter gnome. What we call the double play gnome.
Brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly.
You know what? You're right. That sounded great.
I mean, see how natural that is?
That was just velvety smooth right there. Oh, man. You have to run that back.
You've never heard that, have you?
I've never heard that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, welcome.
That was a Matt LePay billboard read. Well done, Matt. I didn't even know he was here tonight. Where is he anyway?
He's loading up to Texas, I think, isn't he?
Well done. You know what? You're right on the. Your analysis is spot on, as usual. Here's Elian Herrera now to lead off. And then the pitcher spot due up after that. Looks like Shane Peterson will bat. Brewers lead by 2, 6-4. Trying to make it 5 in a row against the Pirates. Swept them here at Miller Park after the All-Star break. The series following the All-Star break. And they've Won the first game of the series. Trying to put another one on the board tonight.
The Brewers already have pounded out 10 hits. Guys have been swinging the bats pretty well. Average is starting to climb.
No balls, 2 strikes on Herrera in the dirt. 1-2. Yeah, Brewers will head to Pittsburgh next week. Pirates starting a 3-city road trip with this series in Milwaukee. They've got the Cardinals next. That's a showdown for them. And maybe a little bit of a look ahead factor last night. Pittsburgh 6 games back of St. Louis. They go to St. Louis for their first of 6 meetings remaining with the Cardinals. But 6 games back with a team that's 40 games over 500 is a lot of ground to make up. I don't see the Cardinals relinquishing much of that. Cardinals are playing the Washington Nationals tonight in St. Louis. Nationals have a 3-2 lead.
You see the Reds are really taking it to the Pirates this year.
Go figure. Losing record against every team in the Central Division. And the worst record against the Central among the 5 teams. Two and 2 the count. And Herrera's hanging tough.
But did you see the record against the East?
Yes. And the West.
24-9 against the East. 21-5 against the West. Wow.
The Pirates are 28 over 500. They're having a great year. They would be leading just about every other division. The only other division they would not be leading would be the AL Central. But that's the way it goes. Pittsburgh is right now in a position to play in their 3rd consecutive wild card game since the new wild card came into play, with the 2 wild card teams matching up in a 1-game playoff or play-in game essentially. It started in 2012. Matter of fact, the Brewers' Kyle Loesch pitched in the first 1-game wild card matchup in Atlanta. There's been a lot of road team success in the wild card games. Ground ball to first base. Alvarez will take it to the bag. And there's out number 1.
Hey, on Wednesday, September 16th, the Brewers host the St. Louis Cardinals, and the first 25,000 fans 18 and over will get a Brewers coupon book featuring special offers from Brewers corporate partners throughout the state. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com today.
Had you thinking about it a little bit there, didn't you?
Well, I'm very accustomed to messing those up. Comes as no surprise when I do.
Here's Shane Peterson pinch hitting. He's done a good job in this role this year. 7 hits in 23 pinch hit at bats. Has 5 runs batted in. That's a .304 average, and 3 of those 7 hits are doubles. Jeremy Jeffress preparing for the 7th after Cesar Jimenez got through a scoreless 6th. There's a strikeout. Blanton takes care of Shane Peterson for out number 2. His first strikeout. Now Gene Segura back in the leadoff spot tonight. He's delivered. Segura had a double in the first inning and then scored a run, and then his next time up, or his last time up I should say, had a double down the left field line and also scored. Marshfield Clinic's shining moments of the game.
He's having a nice homestand. 8 hits.
That will drift on top of the Brewers dugout and out of play.
8 for 19 and doing a pretty good job. Top of the order, doing all the damage tonight.
Now the only other hit not represented there, the pitcher Zach Davies, who had his first major league hit in his second career at bat. Brewers with 6 runs on 10 hits, 9 of the 10 coming from the top 5 in the batting order. LUCROY with 3 runs batted in. Davis has an RBI. Lind with 2 ribbies, including a home run. Oh, 2 pitch. Ground ball to second. Walker for the final out of the inning. Blanton goes 1, 2, 3, gives him 2 innings and a run allowed. And we go to the 7th inning at Miller Park.
Over the Pirates, and in our Blaine's Down on the Farm minor league report, we check in with Wei-Chong Wong, who is working with the Brevard County Manatees, and A-ball hurled his first career complete game yesterday. Gave up just 2 runs on 6 hits, 6 strikeouts for him as well, and it's been a good second half of the season for Wong. You see his numbers there since the All-Star break. 6-4 for him in 13 starts, and that ERA just 1.71. So good finishing effort for Wong here.
That's good to see. Wong actually was acquired or claimed from the Pirates by the Brewers in a Rule 5 draft. Had to keep him in the big leagues the whole year last year. And back to A-ball this year to continue his development. Here's Jeremy Jeffress now as we head to the 7th inning. Brewers lead it 6-4.
Well, it's probably going to be Jeffress, Smith, and K-Rod, hopefully, for Craig Counsell as we work here in the 7th inning. Man, Jeremy last pitched on Sunday against the Reds. Only faced 1 guy, but got a double play ball to strand a couple of base runners in the 8th inning. You see the strikeouts, about a strikeout per innings pitched, and has been unscored upon in each of his last 11 appearances.
Josh Harrison will pinch hit. An all-star last year. It's been a down season for him. He got a big contract. And then had an injury, had a thumb injury, tore some ligaments, had to have surgery. So he's just coming back, trying to put the pieces together and give him a finishing kick. Still a good player for sure. The nephew of John Shelby, the Brewers assistant hitting coach.
Yeah, good hitter for contact. He sprays the ball around. He can run and put him just about anywhere in the infield.
There's T-Bone.
T-Bone hoping he makes it out.
Chopper to third base. Perez will take the big hop. Nice and easy. One away for Jeffress.
And that's that big two-seam fastball for Jeffress. Even down in the count 2-0, he's able to get the weak ground ball to third base. And good velocity, good movement, and he gets an easy out.
Top of the order now. Here is Polanco. This will begin a key stretch for the Brewers bullpen. Polanco, Marte, McCutchen, Ramirez. This lineup keeps coming at you, though. They're as deep as they have ever been, the Pirates, in all facets of their roster. They've got excellent starting pitching. They have an ace in Garrett Cole, even though he did not pitch well yesterday. He's still among the elite pitchers in the game. They got Liriano, a tough left-hander. They've got a great closer in Melanson. A lot of power and variety in their bullpen leading up to the closer's role. And then Rock, their lineup very well balanced. There's a lot of production in there, a ton of home runs.
You're going to have to tighten up the defense as they approach postseason, though.
Yep, that's their one hole. One ball, one strike on Polanco. Takes it low, 2-1. Ground ball hit the glove of Jeffries and ricocheted right to Herrera. 1-4-3 on the out. That was headed for center field if Jeffries doesn't get a glove on that.
That's right. He hit it hard, but Jeffries able to get down, get a piece of it, and deflect it right over to Herrera. How about that? Yeah, good reflexes by Jeffries, and Herrera finishes it off at first base.
Two gone in the inning. Here's Marte. 2 hits tonight. And a jam shot. Perez cuts it off. Inning over. Jeffress, impressive. 3 up, 3 down, 3 ground ball outs. Stretch time at Miller Park. Brewers lead by a pair. Caught up here. Started early for the Brewers. Jonathan Lucroy with an RBI single. Brewers scored twice in that inning after Davis doubled in Lucroy. And the Brewer catcher all the way around from first base. Adam Lind had a 2-out RBI in the 3rd inning. And then Aramis Ramirez with one swing of the bat tied the game at 3 in the 4th. But then the Brewers in the very next frame delivering. LUCROY again with 2 outs and 2 strikes. He drove in 2 to make it 5-3. Ramirez once again an RBI double, a ground rule double. And Aramis with 4 ribbies tonight. That came in the 5th, and then immediately Adam Lind answers. Bottom of the 5th, solo home run. All of the scoring tonight. 6-4 is our score. Aramis has all 4 of the Pittsburgh RBIs. LUCROY's driven in 3. You got Davis with an RBI and Adam Lind with 2. And here is LUCROY starting this Milwaukee 7th.
Caminero with the big fastball leads all rookies in appearances now with 59. Good numbers for him. More strikeouts in innings pitched. He's made 13 consecutive scoreless appearances.
Jung-Ho Kang will take care of LUCROY for the first out.
Now, that was a quick inning for Jeremy Jeffress. He might go back out for another.
And the bullpen is quiet for now. Jeffress just blitzed right through the Pirates. Harrison, Polanco, Marte. And that means McCutchen leads off with the Brewers leading by 2 at least. Right where you want him.
Yeah, that was an 8-pitch inning for Jeremy Jeffress. But why not send him back out there with all these right-handers in the lineup?
Ryan Braun coming off a ground out to second his last time up. Had a single and a run scored in the 3rd inning. He was on when Lind had the base hit. A 2-out run for the Brewers in that 3rd inning. They got 2 runs in the 4th with 2 outs as well. Lind and Counsell. Might not be a baseball related discussion. Braun on the ground. Jung makes a play. The throw to first. And it gets away from Alvarez. That hit into the dugout. So Braun will be awarded second base.
That could be a hit and an error. We'll see how they score it. And Jung doing a good job of getting up the middle on it.
Kang with an E6 on this throw, but it will be a hit for Braun, an infield hit, and then the error to get him to second base. So Braun 2 for 4 tonight. He's at second with 1 away for Chris Davis with 2 hits and an RBI tonight. And that double in the 1st inning hit a bullet out there in the left center.
That's a good matchup, power against power. Chris Davis, a good fastball hitter. And Caminero can bring it in there with the best of them. 98 on the first one.
Shot foul. Archimedes Caminero, he leads all National League rookies in appearances this year with his 59th. As Rock mentioned, he's got a long scoreless inning streak going right now. The Brewers would like to end that. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, he will throw a slider once in a while, but you know, the pitch that he threw to Ryan Braun for Braun's single is 99 miles an hour, so he can get it up there. He's kind of hides it pretty well. Some kind of arm.
And Davis is down on strikes. Fastball at 100 strikes out Chris Davis.
Yeah, 100 up in the zone is tough to get a piece of. Up around the belt at that velocity is very difficult to square up on, and even Chris Davis can't do it.
And the Pirates are going to walk Adam Lind with a base open at first.
That was probably what they were talking about. Lind and Counsell said, you know, they're going to walk me. Chris doesn't, get a hit here.
Or he could have been saying, I got these killer green socks that I'm going to wear after the game. Got a little pink in them. Lind's got an impressive sock game. I will give him that. He's feeling good tonight. Feeling chipper, talking to the skipper with 2 hits and 2 runs batted in, and now an intentional walk. And that is going to bring Domingo Santana to the plate. So Hurdle will put the rookie in the spot with 2 on and 2 away. Santana is 0 for 3.
We saw Santana against Aroldis Chapman over the weekend. Hit a bullet to third base. It was an out, but he hit it hard, so he too can turn on a good fastball.
99 down in the zone. Strike 1. Santana swings over the top. Chopper to third. And Ramirez will bare hand. No play anywhere. An infield hit for Santana. And now they're loaded up.
Well, second one of those the Brewers have had tonight. Chris Davis had one back in the 3rd inning. He'll take it. Hits have been hard to come by for Domingo Santana, especially singles.
And instead of Hernan Perez, Counsell's going to make a play here. Scooter Gennett will pinch hit. And that Hurdle bullpen with all of those relievers out there is quiet. So it'll be Gennett against Caminero. Bases loaded. Braun had an infield hit. He's at third base. Lind was intentionally walked, and now Santana after an infield hit. And Gennett on the first pitch, and that's going to fall. A base hit. Braun is in. Here comes Lind right behind him. He'll score. 2 RBIs on a single for Scooter Gennett. And it is 8-4 Milwaukee.
Well, first pitch, not messing around. Scooter coming off the bench and driving in a couple of runs. Well, he stays hot. Fastball down the middle. That's our Badger Mutual insurance runs of the game here tonight. Yeah, good effort by Polanco, coming up short. Well, the Brewers extend their lead to 4. Oh, what a big hit by Gennett. Some kind of work the Brewers have done tonight with 2 outs.
Scooter Gennett now 4 for 10 as a pinch hitter this year. Santana all the way to third base. First and third, 2 outs. 8-4 Brewers lead it on 13 hits. And here is Herrera now on the ground to second, and that will do it. So Clint Hurdle, he did not have a lefty ready. He was going to let it ride with Caminero against Gennett. Gennett makes him pay.
This one 8-4 as we head to the 8th, and looking ahead to the Miller Lite, what's on tap? They'll be sending another rookie, Taylor Youngman, who just like Zach Davies tonight made his major league debut against the Pirates. He'll face the lefty Francisco Liriano, and Youngman has had great success against the Pirates. He's gone 2-0 against them, including that first start, 2 starts for him, and the ERA just 1.29. So talking to him today about his success against the Pirates, he said it's kind of hard to explain, but he said he's going to try to keep it going and knows there's a lot of power in this lineup. Emphasizes keeping the ball down in the zone. We'll hear more from him tomorrow on Brewers Live pregame.
All right, Sophia, thanks. It is 8-4 Brewers as we head to the 8th inning. Bunch of changes here for Milwaukee. Jeanette stays in. That moves Herrera to third. Schaefer comes in to play center field, moving Santana to left. So Chris Davis is out, and Jeanette pinch hit for Perez. Jeremy Jeffress will continue here. Andrew McCutchen now batting with the Pirates down 4. Well, I'm sure Clint Hurdle is going to be asked about the matchup with Jeanette last inning.
He started the game with 10 relievers. He's got 3 of them down there that are left-handed. Decided not to use any of them for Jeanette.
Well, Jeffress working in an 8-pitch, 3-up, 3-down 7th inning. And he's got McCutchen 0-2 and a ground ball to third base. Herrera just moving over there. Makes the play. McCutchen retired.
Well, he's not moving around very well, is he? Hobbling.
He has battled knee trouble. He's got him heavily wrapped. And did not get down the line well at all there. He runs when he has to. And once he saw something looked like got him right there as he was coming out of the box.
I'm not sure what. Looked like he was starting to run pretty hard, but then pulled up.
That's 4 in a row for Jeremy Jeffress. Ramirez, a swing and a miss. Responsible for all 4 runs tonight. Ramirez now has 5 RBIs in the series. Homered last night. 3-run homer that tied the game tonight. And then had an RBI double in the 5th inning. 0-2 the count. If the Brewers hang on to win this game, got some decisions to make on who would earn a victory for the Brewers. It's up to the discretion of the official score to determine who had pitched the most effective, because the starter tonight, Zach Davies, making his major league debut, did not go the required minimum 5 innings to earn a decision.
Nabel came in, got a couple of outs, but did give up the big double to Ramirez to drive in a run. Jimenez pitched well, a scoreless inning.
And Jeffress trying to go 2 scoreless. And foul ball, look out, didn't mean to do it. Count stays at 0-2. Right off the end of the bat, right to Jeanette. 2 gone. 5 in a row, all 5 outs on the ground for Jeremy Jeffress.
And he came in with a 2-run lead. The Brewers able to extend it in the bottom of the 7th, and doing a terrific job not getting the strikeouts, but that 2-seam, that power sinker working well tonight.
He's got the scowl going Here's Jung Ho Gung. Two outs, and Gung takes a ball. I tell you, if Jeffress finishes this inning scoreless, I would be inclined to give him the victory tonight.
Probably going to be his last hitter. If Gung gets on, you got Smith loosening in the bullpen.
And Gung into right field. Braun eases over. Got it lined up. And how about that effort by Jeremy Jeffress? 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down.
Scored in this game, and Milwaukee trying to build on a 4-run lead right now and trying to take the first 2 games of this series. We're getting ready for Brewers Live postgame. One of the things we're going to talk about is the Brewers still kind of own the Pirates, if we will, without jinxing anything right now. But this team about to lose potentially their 3rd straight game for the first time since they were swept here back in mid-July.
Well, you know, partner, I tell you what, the Pirates are probably scratching their heads and said, what's going on? It's probably throwing back in their minds for some of these Pirates that have been here for a while, how the Brewers in years past have dominated them.
Kind of playing spoiler a bit right now, trying to win their 8th game in this season series, which is game 14 here tonight. Again, Brewers Live postgame on the way. We're here from Craig Counsell and the crew, and kind of go over Zach Davies' first Major League appearance on the mound as well, Brian.
All right, Craig, Davey, thank you. Lots to talk about tonight for Brewers Live. Got a pinch hitter, Jason Rogers. He'll lead off for the crew here in the 8th inning. And the new Pirate pitcher is Rob Scahill, who's just coming back from an injury.
Yeah, right forearm tightness. Just came back from the 15-day disabled list, recalled from a rehab assignment. You see his numbers throughout the season. 25th appearance for him.
Jason Rogers. Been a good pinch hitter for the Brewers this season. He's having a tough time finding the field otherwise. It'll be a decision the Brewers would have to make, something to think about. It's extremely difficult to find good pinch hitters. Bench players. You'd prefer to have a guy who could play multiple positions and hit. Those are rare, hard to come by. Rogers has proven he can handle big league pitching. Even though his overall batting average is .236, Rogers has been an excellent hitter off the bench, and he's hitting AAA. Chops that one foul. Tough on young hitters to come to the big leagues and have success off the bench. I think Rogers has shown enough. He has 9 hits this year in a pinch hit role.
He's got a good approach at the plate. He doesn't try and overswing too much. He's got a couple of homers. Uses right field pretty well. You love the way he chokes up on that bat with 2 strikes.
Now hitting coach Darnell Cole's always looking at the at-bats, breaking them down, and the quality at-bats, how a hitter takes pitches. Is he seeing the ball well? Is he fooled? And he gets high marks. Gives high marks for Jason Rogers. Former Brewers minor league player of the year, Rogers. Back when Darnell Coles was managing in the Brewers system before he left for Detroit to be their assistant hitting coach. 2-2 on the way, and that one is just outside. Ball 3.
Tough pitch to take. Although that has not been a strike all night. Maybe a little bit more generous on the inside corner than on the outside corner. You can see that pitch could have gone either way.
9th pitch of the at bat. You'll see at least 10. Well, we confirmed with the official scorer, Wayne Frankie, and he has confirmed that Jeremy Jeffress would be in line for the win if the Brewers finish it off, as Rogers draws the walk. That's the kind of at-bat I'm talking about. That's a great at-bat. 10 pitches and he draws a walk, sitting around all night.
Yeah, he was down in the count 1-2, able to fight his way to a walk. 10 pitch at bat, ends up drawing a walk. Good job.
Segura, swing and a miss. Shows bunt. Not a bad thought. 2 more hits tonight for Segura. 2 doubles. 2 runs scored out of that leadoff spot. And that's hit number 3 for Segura. How about it?
Just a nice approach. My goodness. And not just serving it in that direction, but getting on top of it and hitting it hard on the ground, the liner. Well, he's pulled a couple of doubles down the left field line and showing you that he still remembers how to go to right. Able to drive that one into right field. Jason Rogers skipping out of the way and getting into second base.
All right, so Segura 3 out of 5 tonight. 2 on with nobody out. Here is LUCROY, top of this Brewers order. Hitters 1 through 5 have done some big damage tonight. Top 5 batters in the order have been on base 12 times in this game. And you got LUCROY with 3 runs batted in on 2 hits. He's 2 for 4. Braun has a couple of hits. Davis with 2 hits and an RBI, and Adam Lind has been on 3 times with 2 hits and a walk.
2 of the biggest hits in the game were by Zach Davies in the 4th, extending an inning, and that Jeanette single to drive in a couple. And
meanwhile, the Cardinals have tied it up on the Nationals. Another comeback late for St. Louis. They got a run in the 7th to tie it.
They've done that now 3 times.
Ryan Zimmerman has 2 home runs in the game for Washington. Worth is homered. Brandon Moss is homered as well, his 16th or 19th, I should say. LUCROY in the left field. Marte is right there. That's the first out of the inning. The 2 teams in the Beltway are in a bit of a collapse right now. The Nationals and the Orioles. Baltimore did win tonight. They beat Tampa Bay 7-6 in 11 innings. They had lost 12 of 13 and 6 in a row until tonight.
Yeah, Nationals just can't win away from home this year. They're 10 games under 500 on the road.
Team feels like they're too talented to have the record that they have right now. Ryan Braun takes a ball low. They've got an MVP candidate in Bryce Harper.
Good pitching. I mean, who knows?
Go figure.
There's a lot more to it than just talent, right?
Two on, 1 away for Braun, and a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braun has not hit the ball on the barrel tonight, but he has 2 hits. He'll take them. Had a little flare single in the 3rd inning, or a little seeing eye grounder, I should say, in the 3rd. Had an infield hit in the 7th inning.
He's got the average up to 280. Batting average of 280. On base percentage 350.
The all-time home run leader in Brewers franchise history. Overtook Robin Yount on August 19th. Has now hit 254 career homers. 251 was Yount's number. Braun on the ground, and that's through. A base hit. Rounding 3rd, headed home. Rogers. It's an RBI single for Braun, and the Brewers tack another one on. It is 9-4 Milwaukee on Braun's 3rd hit.
Yeah, hit that one hard. Hit it right on the button. What a good approach. 15 hits for the Brewers. That one right under the glove of Neil Walker. Taking it to the opposite field, hitting it hard on the ground, and Walker dives right over the top of it, and Jason Rogers, who walked to start the inning, able to come in and score. Segura gets into 3rd base.
And that's going to be the end of the night for Scahill, returning from the disabled list. Manages just 1 out. A run is in on a walk and 2 hits, and back to the bullpen goes Clint Hurdle. Lead now 9-4 Milwaukee. They pounded out 15 hits tonight. It's been a steady attack for the Brewers offense. Bobby Laframboise is on the pitch.
Yeah, we saw him in last night's ball game. Was recalled Tuesday from Indianapolis. He had 52 strikeouts and 54 relief appearances for one of three left-handers down in the bullpen. Third time he's been with the Pirates this year.
All right, it'll be Logan Schaefer, his first at-bat. Came in defensively for Davis. Came in to play center field. That moved Santana over to Davis's spot. First and third with one away. Segura at third base, 3 hits tonight. You got Ryan Braun over at first. And Schaefer breaks his bat. Little pop up for an out. And Schaefer is gone.
Yeah, lost his bat.
Oh, it didn't break. It just came out of his hand. You're right.
Yeah, right to the backstop.
That was very unusual. He literally took the bat out of his hands.
Yeah, just slipped out of his hand. And yeah, where is it? Where's that? Where's the bat? Where's the ball?
Both were foul. The ball ended up as an out. And here's Lynn now. He's had a good night. Single and an RBI in the third. He hit a home run in the fifth. Walked and scored in the seventh. Intentionally walked and scored in the seventh. Pirates have had 2 starters in the series, Garrett Cole and Jeff Locke, who have been unable to get into the 5th inning. Last night, Cole went 4 innings. Jeff Locke went 3 2/3 tonight. Chasing starters early, even with 10 relievers in your bullpen.
Well, they've used half of them tonight.
Hughes came in for Locke, then Blanton, Caminero, Scahill, now Laframboise as he strikes out Lind to end the inning. But the Brewers get another one. Ryan Braun with an RBI single. 9-4 Brew Crew. We go to the ninth. Brewers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Been a good night for the crew. Had a major league debut tonight. Zach Davies went 4 1/3. Showed some impressive signs tonight, even though he gave up 4 runs. He'll have his day and many others. Tyler Thornburg now, Rock, trying to finish this thing off. The Brewers lead by 5 and 3 outs to get.
Yeah, since he's come back to Milwaukee, he's done a pretty good job in 8 appearances, a 2.08 earned run average. Was recalled back on July 31st from AAA. Last pitched on Saturday against Cincinnati. Gave up a run in an inning and a third of work.
So Thornburg will face Neil Walker to start it. Pedro Alvarez and then Francisco Cervelli. 6, 7, and 8 in the Pirates batting order. The Nationals of Washington have taken the lead on the Cardinals of St. Louis. 4-3 the score there in the 8th inning. Ryan Zimmerman again. He's at 2 homers in the game and now just got a double and an RBI. 3 runs batted in off Jonathan Broxton, the former Brewer. Nats are desperate for a win tonight. The Mets already won tonight. Mets beat the Phillies 9-4. So the Nats need a win to remain 6.5 back. And it's going to be division or bust for Washington. They're not going to fight their way into the wild card picture. They're 9 games behind the Cubs right now for that second wild card spot. Giants are 6.5 back of the Cubs.
Yeah, 6.5 or 6.5 is a lot to make up to try and chase down the Mets. But it's possible. They have games against each other.
6 of them remaining with those 2. Speaking of wild card races, the Minnesota Twins have won again. Shut out the White Sox tonight, 3-0. Twins are trailing the Rangers for the second wild card position. Right now it's the Yankees and the Rangers. Ground ball toward the middle. Jeanette backhands it. Off balance throw is in time. Scooter Jeanette, not only does he have a 2 RBI single, but put that one on the reel. Beautiful defensive play.
Yeah, off the bat, it looked like it was going to be a base hit, but Scooter able to get there. But that wasn't even the tough part of the play. This is the tough part to throw right on the money. Well done.
That's the play of the night in this game.
Off balance throw, sidearmed, and right there for Adam Lynn. Gets him by 2 steps.
Heck of a play by Jeanette. Well, this Brewers bullpen has done a great job tonight.
A lot of ground ball outs, that's for sure. That's what you like to see from your pen. Keep the ball in the infield.
Well, Jeffress retired 6 in a row. Cesar Jimenez came on. He did give up a leadoff single, but had a fly ball and then a double play ball. Faced just 3 batters in the 6th. Alvarez to right field. Braun is there. 2 outs. Pirates came in here red hot. 18-9 in the month of August. They had won 10 of 13 prior to last night. Now the Brewers are out away from making it back-to-back wins here, and 5 straight wins over the Pirates here at Miller Park. Go figure this game.
You can't. Yeah, something about the Pirates in Miller Park. Brewers go on to win tonight. Since 2007, Brewers are 60-17 against the Pirates. That's unbelievable.
Well, this is game 2 of 17 consecutive games for the Pirates against the Central Division of the National League, in which they have the worst record in their own division. So this is a huge stretch of games for the Pirates here. There's a ball down and in. 2-1 to count on Cervelli. Again, they've got enough cushion that it's unlikely they would lose a playoff spot. I mean, they'd have to go on a historic slump. They're too good of a team to do that. But their hopes at a division title are slipping a little bit.
Well, they got the head-to-head. They got 6 games left with St. Louis.
Thornburg trying to finish it off. Pirates are down to their last strike. Brewers just kept the pressure on tonight. They scored in every inning except the 2nd and the 6th. Steady pressure tonight, and those tack-on runs, which are so important. And most important, every time the Pirates scored tonight, the Brewers had an answer in the bottom of the inning.
And the big inning was the 4th. Pirates got 3, Brewers got 2 right back.
Adam Lind, big part of that. 2 runs batted in, had a home run tonight. Cervelli pops it up. This should do it. Braun's coming in. Jeanette will call, and that's that. The Brewers win 9-4. The final score makes a winner out of Jeremy Jeffress, who's 4-0. Adam Lind with a home run, his 18th of the year. A couple of hits. Braun with 3 hits. Segura goes for 3 hits. Jeanette had a big pinch hit, 2 RBI single as well. LUCROY with 3 runs batted in. There's plenty to talk about tonight on Brewers Live postgame. Craig Cashon is your host. He's standing by in right field. Craig?
Okay, BA, yeah, lots to talk about here tonight. Hope to catch up with tonight's starting pitcher, Zach Davies, to see what he thought about start number 1. We'll definitely hear from Craig Counsell. Come on back. Brewers Live is next.